Recording is on.
All right, good evening. If you can hear me, can you just drop a comment just say hi in the comment section. Good evening. Welcome to tonight clarity series. Okay, my name is Abolari Emmanuel, and I am your host for tonight. So I'll just give a brief introduction of what we are here for tonight, and then we'll proceed to our session tonight. All right. So if you are on this platform, that means you are part of the Scaleit community. So this is the clarity series for all the members of Scaleit community. And the clarity series is a weekly program where verified experts on Scaleit share practical wisdom, and you get the opportunity to book a session with them or you join their coaching. So basically, you just get to know more about these experts and the solution they can offer to you as an expert. Okay, so we have different experts that will be featured on the Clarity series on a weekly basis. So you really don't want to miss any of the sessions at all. um, so for tonight, we are going to be focusing on two areas. So we are going to be focusing on money and mindset. All right, money and mindset. How to manage your finances intelligently and how to think clearly so you stop sabotaging yourself. All right. So the reason for the clarity series is because more often than not, every single individual want to take a step, right? But one of the things that hinder them is that they don't have clarity on what to do, right? They don't have clarity on how to take the next step that will take them to their next destination. All right. So there's knowledge everywhere. When you go online right now, you search about any topic, you have different perspective, you have different people talking about the same subject matter. But the question is, whose information is right for you? That is where clarity comes in. So you are not just going to be bombarded with so many informations. You are going to actually get clarity on your next step on this session. All right. So if you know anybody that is meant to be on this call this evening and that person is not here, you can just send a message to the person, tell him or she that we are live already, and the experts are ready to jump on the call with us. Okay, so some housekeeping before we proceed to our first segment this evening. So, like I said, we're going to be focusing on money and mindset. So it means that we're going to be having two experts speak to us tonight. Okay, so one of the experts will be talking um, in about money, while the other expert will be talking about mindset and clarity. So the first expert will be literally giving us concepts about financial management. All right. So it's just going to take about 30 to 45 minutes for a session. Then the second speaker, the second expert will come up and also, enlighten us about mindset and clarity. All right. So you can just take note of your question because at the end of the session, we'll be having questions and answer. So you can drop your question in the chat on this call if you haven't dropped your question on the Google Doc that we sent on the platform. So at the end also you get an opportunity to link up with this expert to either book a session with them or you subscribe to their coaching. All right. So I will be introducing the first expert right now, right about now. All right. So just give me a few moments. Okay, so the first expert that will be coming up is Mr. Michael Akinola, and he is a financial management expert. He's a chartered accountant, certified financial and investment analyst, and is a member of the Nigerian Economic Society with expertise in business diplomacy and financial management. All right. So he advised SMEs, that is the small medium enterprises, corporates, and HNIs on financial control systems, investment analysis, and growth strategy. His multidisciplinary approach combines accounting rigor, economic insight, and diplomatic negotiation, enabling clients to plug profit leakage, build investor ready reports, and make data backed decisions. He's a registered teacher with an MSc. He also lead the firm's capacity building arm, that is the MTRCN. Okay, he leads the firm capacity building arm. He also trained finance team to operate at CFO level standards. His core competence: financial control and audit readiness, investment appraisal, and deal structuring. He also is also competent in business finance training, and is an ICANN exam and career advisory. Can we welcome Mr. Michael Akinola? Mr. Michael Akinola. So that's the bio of Mr. Michael Akinola. Can we just welcome him on board? Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Yeah.
I'm really glad to be here one more time. And thank you so much, sir, for that warm welcoming. Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
thank you so much. We are glad to have you, sir. So right about now, you just I will allow you to take the floor. Then we'll go into question and answer immediately you're done. All right.
All right, sir.
Okay.
So, practically, I'm a financial manager, as you've said. And for tonight, I will be speaking as a financial manager expert, right? All right. So, for every business, I mean, I do say businesses survive through finance and how you actually coordinate your business finances. So so basically I would just walk us through financial management briefly within 30 minutes as you said, then before we call it a section today. So let me take an overview of financial management itself. The process where you plan, when you organize, when you direct and control, monitor the financial resources of your organization to achieve its objectives. Do you get it? Efficiently and profitably. Yeah, like how you actually put to use the little resources or the limited resources, uh, the capital you have, the running business capital you have. I mean, your investment currently. How do you put it to practice? How do you engage those finances, those funds? Now, that's basically what financial management is all about. We are in to check how your excesses are being managed, how your excesses are being controlled against what you have that is coming in to your company or into your business or into your individual pocket, basically. So, in simple terms, I would just say financial management ensures the right amount of money is available at the right time and is used in the most productive way. That's the best and the easiest way I can try to put it now. It ensures that the right amount of money. Now you imagine um an entrepreneur trying to venture into a business or an existing business trying to expand the equity of the company, trying to scale up and open branches in other places, for example. Now, what financial management does is we check in, okay, this your particular plan, this project you have, how viable is it, and how is your cost going to affect significantly? So either positive or negative, your spending will definitely affect your business. So financial management now, it is our own responsibility to make sure that our advices, our expertise knowledge dished out to your own business is to help you align. There's this point I do tell people: there's totally nobody in the world that would assure you that 100% you're not going to experience loss. No, it's not possible. But to a very significant point, financial management expert would help you to mitigate, to reduce that particular level of loss that you're going to incur. Do you get, please? So what are the objectives basically? Why do we really make much more emphasis on financial management? Why? Number one, I would say for profit maximization. As an economist, we make more use of this particular one. I would definitely be investing in the business. Why? Because I need profit. Do we get it? If I'm going into this business, I need profit. If I'm going to diversify into another sector, it's because I need profit. If I'm going to add up to my capital, it's because I need more profit. Do you get it? So financial management will help you to maximize that profit, to maximize the income that will come back from that, especially. So it will ensure liquidity at the same time. So ensuring liquidity is another objective of financial management. So maintaining enough cash to meet daily operation expenses and financial obligations. Now, financial management, there's this good thing we do. I love the fact that somebody was asking about budgeting the last time. Then I would I would say financial it is the responsibility of financial managers to help you put in check your expenses. How are you dishing out, and what's that ratio of your money going out compared to what you are receiving back inside. So ensuring liquidity is one of our key objectives, major objectives, and that I would align that to a practical example I shared with a client of mine some time ago. He said, you have, for example, you have machines or machineries in your workplace, that's considering factories that produce, and this machine keep giving you problem. It costs you a lot to fix it every month. Then why not, as a financial manager, I step in now and ask her, why not think of replacing this instead of you spending over and over every month to fix this? So at the end of the day, making the calculation of our spending, what she keeps spending on repairs compared to the cost of getting a new one, I found out that in 6 months, the money for repairs would actually buy a new one for 6 months duration. So, madam, why not buy a new one now and save yourself that cost? Then use this new machine with a lifespan of at least 3 to 4 years. Do you get it now? So that's another way financial managers will step in, and we try to check what is it exactly you are really making a lot of spending on that is not yielding well to your company, to your business, to your individual pocket now. Do we get it, please? And then financial stability. One of our major objectives is to ensure financial stability for everybody, individuals, businesses, and organizations. And most especially, the SMEs in Nigeria do really underline or undermine the importance of this stability when it comes to financial management. So we prevent financial distress actually by balancing your income, your expenses, your assets, and your liabilities. So if you really want to grow as individual, I mean financially now, if you want to grow as an SME, a new startup, you want to scale up an organization itself, you want to grow your business and all those. I mean, the main thing you need to do is how do I ensure stability? How do I ensure stability? And that's now our own role. Then we'll come in and check, Oga, where are you spending a lot? Where are you spending excess? And how can we cut down cost. Now, when most people feel economies are stingy, so when we talk more on cutting cost, I'm not really saying cutting cost by not spending out. No, I mean, why keep spending this much on this particular thing? I found out, okay, for another company that I happened to to be a consultant to them recently, I found out that these guys rent camera. Yeah, you rent camera as much as over 150 200,000 naira just to go and shoot a video clip on your site. I mean, why didn't to keep renting that much to get drone or camera? Meanwhile, the cost of buying a drone, according to them, was about 900,000. So I opened up to the board. I said, okay, it means you've rented this thing for more than 4 months. That means you should have actually bought your own in the first place and keep saving yourself that cost. I mean, this company is still in existence for 4 years now. So can we just calculate that cost of renting drone alone or camera alone almost 3 4 times in every quarter, and we have 4 quarters in a year. Do you get it? So financial management would come in and check where are your excesses going to, where are your expenses, unnecessary ones. Now, we are not saying you should not make those expenses come on board, but we are providing you alternative of why not do this? Why not get this equipment instead of you keep spending a whole lot to get that? Do you get it, please? All right. The next one I would say is efficient resource allocation. Efficient resource allocation, it's very important, and permit me to borrow that from our economics terminology. Actually, we ensure that part of our economic solution to societal problem is we ensure that the resources, the little resources, the limited resources, let me say, not little, the limited resources available to you as individual, the resources available to you as a business now, an SME, you do not really have that much capital, then how do you engage it? How do you make use of the little one you have that would provide or that will yield more results? So you can take, for example, I would love to actually come down solo. I don't want to be citing example of companies that are already established to that extent that dish out millions. Now let me come down to very low SMEs now, maybe snacks, yeah, a pop-up seller now, for example. Now, financial management, when we step into your business, you're trying to scale up, you're trying to make um to make effective efficient use of your resources. You want to maximize your profit. What do you do? Then we'll come in and check, madam, what are things you put in place before you do your fries? What are things you get, the cost of getting this, your logistics cost, and all those. Now, there are a lot of alternatives. I mean, there would always be alternative. There would definitely always be alternatives. So now it's our own responsibility to now give you these alternatives and say, oh, come on, your business need this. Why do you spend so much traveling down to Lagos from Ibadan to get something when you can actually source it within Ibadan, and then the cost difference is actually so minute? I don't know if you understand it. So I tell people, why spend a lot on transportation? Because you want to go and get something cheap from somewhere, and at the end of the day you calculate your transport cost, add it to your cost of getting those things, you end up finding out that you've actually spent a whole lot than what you should have spent while getting those resources around you. So we would help in efficient resource allocation. So what are the functions actually? What are the functions of financial management? Let me just, I'm trying to be so fast with all this. Financial planning, yeah. The functions of financial management, the first and the most important one is financial planning. I mean, every business, I said the other time, every business that really wants to survive, that really wants to grow, you must be that disciplined to have your finances planned well. And when I say your finances planned well, indirectly, I'm taking us back to the line of budgeting. You must have a proper plan. Okay, this is what we have to run for this month. Now, what discipline, what's the level of your discipline to make sure that that particular amount you have for that month is not exceeded? I mean, as a manager in my own part, I ensured so many times that if I'm paying out any money to anybody, to any department, I'm not coming to ask you if you need more. I'm definitely coming to ask you, what is the budget surplus we have from what we spent on. So people that work with me know me with that mentality that I definitely come back to let them know that this company people actually understand that money is so important individually or your business. So financial planning involves forecasting future financial requirements and determining how to meet them. That's financial planning now. It involves forecasting future financial requirements and determining how to meet them. So you can imagine you as an individual or as an SME now, a startup business now. Your goal is to have a saving. Yeah, let me cite this because it once happened to me some years ago, 2 3 years ago. I said, by December I should have 500,000 naira as my own savings. I mean, within period of 3 months. So it should actually look somehow if you want to set this goal for yourself, for your business, that by this so period I should be able to have this amount of money saved, unused, and no, I mean, there should not be any reason for that money to come out of that account. Do you get it? So what do we now do? What do we do to ensure that your financial plans come to pass? I mean, how do you do it? What are the activities involved in financial planning? I would give preparing budgets. Yeah, that's the first one. Very importantly, preparing budget. I keep mentioning budgeting. If you notice, preparing budget, it will help a lot as an individual, as a small business, SME, uh, a corporate organization. Budgeting is so important that nations run with budgets. I mean, no matter how big you are, you still have to, if you really want to be financially intelligent, you still have to have that mindset that everything you do regarding finances of your business should be detailed in a budget. Your budget will not be what would, it will be a blueprint of what you intend spending on, then what you forecast coming back to you. Okay, this is how much we are going to spend this month. And if we are spending this amount this month, this is how much I'm expecting to get back to me this month. Just yesterday, I was engaging with a business partner, and I asked, I said, okay, if tell me, I mean, give me the assurance that within 24 months, my 250,000 would yield at least a minimum of 50% ROI. Do you get it? Now, I'm saying I have the resources. I'm giving you this. I'm saying I'm buying your business. Okay, take this 250, do your business. But within 24 months, that's 2 years. Within 2 years, you should be able to come back to me with my 250,000, then with another 125,000 naira as my profit. I mean, it's part of budgeting. So it's now left to you now. Whoever wants to buy into that idea and say, okay, I think if I commit this money to doing this, I will buy this, I will sell this. This is how much I will make from selling this. Do you get it? That's how budgeting works actually. Then in the aspect of expenses now, expenditure now, okay, I spent so much on transportation. Why not? Okay, let me think of alternative. Why not find a particular person I will be paying monthly? I value people that have private drivers and private bike men. I mean, it's a very good thing to do because imagine you have a bike man, for example, your business has a bike man that does your delivery now. You need to deliver goods to people in different locations and you spend so much on logistics always. Why not just get a particular person? Okay, Oga, at the end of every month, I'll be paying you 30,000 naira. I mean, to that particular bike man, of course, you're offering him a very big deal. They would not, at that particular time, they would not see your own calculations yet. But you end up seeing that by the time 1 month is complete and then you calculate all the trips the bike men took, they are going, coming, to fro and everything, you would have eventually spent more than that 30,000 naira that you are paying him in a month. I mean, that's it. So financial management, when it comes to proper planning, you check alternatives. We suggest alternatives to your business. Okay, we understand you've been spending a lot. We understand you've been committing so much on this part. Why not do this? I mean, when you do this, there will be even if it's a slight cut in your spending. I mean, it's still an advantage to you. Still an advantage to you. All right. Then next one, part of the activities of financial planning is revenue forecasting. I think I already mentioned all this while explaining revenue forecasting. If I commit a 500,000 naira to doing this business, okay, I want to go into e-commerce. I mean, one of the businesses I love so much is e-commerce. Uh, oh, I want to get these items from China. I'm getting this 50,000 naira. When it gets down to Nigeria, I'll sell it 150,000 naira. How many units am I buying? Okay, how much am I making in excess from buying all those? Do you get it, please? So committing yourself to making revenue forecasting would actually help you, would help your business too. This is what I'm doing. This is okay. By the time I start selling this, by the time I start saving this amount, by the end of this particular duration from my savings, I should have this. I learned to digress into savings now. I'm actually not a savings person, but I mean, when you listen to financial experts like the likes of Tony Robbins, Perry Marshall, who is currently my mentor now, these people actually, like, they preach savings a lot. They believe when you save, you have a particular interest that comes back to you. And then just yesterday, I stumped on something. OP sent me a message that okay, when you are saving 100,000 naira with them monthly, you'll be having 1,250 naira. I was shocked. I mean, why should I save 100,000 naira with you for 1 month? And what you give me after 1 month, 30 days, is 1,250 naira. I mean, that's why I used to discourage savings. But to these men who already have enough resources to themselves, that the money, instead of the money to just stay idle in their banks, I mean, to themselves, they do what? They just dish it out to banks in form of savings. That okay, even if it's that little 15% per annum that is coming in, is still something to them. Do we get it? So if you are the type that you really do not want to commit yourself into trading, buying and selling, then particularly that savings is a very good idea. That okay, after this particular period of time, if I'm committing this amount to this bank, this is how much I'll be making. So that's all about revenue forecasting. Then cash flow projections. I think that covers the both preparing budget and revenue forecasting. Your cash flow projections. Cash flow is actually much more on how money goes out and how money comes in. Do we get it? The way you spend
Yeah.
out, the way you spend in, that's all about cash flow. Then how do we project it? Okay, this is how much I'm ready to be spending by this month, and this is how much I'm expecting to be coming in to me by this month. All right. Then let me move to budgeting and the second point among our key functions of financial management. The second one I jotted there is budgeting or budgetary control, which I mentioned so many times. So budget is a financial plan. That's it. That's just the simple part. Budget is a financial plan prepared for a specific period. Most times countries prepared 1 year. Most times organizations prepare 6 months, 1 year too. So we have different types of budget. Somebody will be wondering, okay, what's this particular budget? I mean, to a layman would feel I've actually been hearing budget always. Now we have so many types of budgets. Okay, let me just give us like 4 5. We have the operating budget, we have sales budget, we have cash budget, we have capital budget, we have master budget. I don't know. I'm trying to work with my time to make sure. All right. So all these budget now, operating budget, of course, your business need operation cost. How much you spend on fueling, lightning, transportation daily on daily basis. Then sales budget, how much is your cost of purchase, cost of that particular product, cost of logistics, delivering to the buyers and all those. Then the cash budget, how much cash is it you are estimating to have to yourself to use. Then capital budget, how much is it actually that you really have to start a business with. I mean, that capital budget is one of the main thing I used to ask people that reach out to me. If you really want to, if you are coming to me to ask me about business idea, then I would ask you, how much is it you have as your capital budget? How much are you ready to commit to a business so that I would know which dimension do I really want to take into. I mean, you will not come to me and say you have 5 million and you want to go into a business like a logistics business or e-commerce business. I mean, that would sound ridiculous. Or you say you have a savings of 100,000 naira, you want to do business, and I would now start recommending real estate to you. I mean, that that would really be foolish. So, what are the benefit of budgeting? Let me just benefit of budgeting. It controls spending. I mean, seriously, when you budget, when you have a proper budgeting to help your business controls spending, unnecessary spending should be out. You would find out that the moment you start budgeting in your business, in your individual spending life, you would find out that so many things you used to spend money on will be out. I was speaking with a friend, said, what is it exactly that you benefit from getting suya almost every day? Suya and coke. Okay, let's do something. Can you do it instead of buying suya and coke every day in a week? Do that 2 times in a week. The money you are meant to buy those days that you will not be buying, just send them to your separate account. Then after 1 week, tell me how much you have left. I mean, that was all. This person was really amazed, surprised. That was same thing that somebody told me when I was learning this particular budget control of spending. The person said, why do you spend so much on buying airtime, airtime, airtime? And the airtime you're buying, you'd end up calling somebody and say, hello, I just called to check on you. Okay, instead of you spending so much on airtime, okay, can you reduce spending on airtime, and that particular amount that you are reducing now, don't spend it on any other thing. Just send it to a separate account, save it. It could be this thrift, anyone, any way you want to save it. Then after a month, come back to me and tell me how much you were able to save. Then I realized that over 3,000 naira had always been spent on buying airtime. So budgeting will help you to control spending a lot. Then it prevents wastage. I mean, that's very important. It prevents wastage. Every organization, business, especially SMEs, startups, if your business is still dealing with wastage up to now, seriously, I would not guarantee your success. Yeah, I mean, factories that produce are the only people that take note of this. I have little experience on chalk production. Then I noticed something then. There is a particular quantity of calcium that you add to your combination, your mixture, and all those. Because the moment you pour your mixture into the mold, the remaining one dries up immediately, and that's a waste. So in this aspect, to prevent wastage, actually is factories that produces things that put that to place. Most SMEs in Nigeria don't check on that. A lot don't check on that. You can imagine you have a provision store. With your provision store, you are the one that consumes biscuits very frequently every day. You drink the pure water anyhow you like. I mean, always. The pure water you could not finish, you are flinging it away. Now, all these are wastage, and it affects, or it will keep affecting your financial position of your business. Then it enhances accountability actually. When you run your business, when you run your own private life through budget, it will enhance accountability. You'll be able to be accountable for everything you spend on. That it will be that serious that see now I still account for the 50 naira that bank will remove from you transferring above 10,000 naira. Why? Because you know this is how much I want to spend, and you are separating this cost to this account. Then you should be able to include in that budget that okay, bank too will charge me 50 naira if I'm spending more than this. I mean, it will help you to be so accountable. So at the end of the day, you not come and be asking yourself, wait, to 100,000 naira entered to my account. I mean, I cannot explain how 100,000 naira finish in 2 days. Why? Because you were not really running with a budget. All right. So the third one, if time permits, it should not be the last. Then cash flow management. Yeah, one of our functions, or another key function of financial management, is cash flow management, please. And cash flow management ensures adequate cash is available for your daily operation. For your daily operation, a firm currently has this problem that you keep borrowing to pay your workers' salary. I mean, it will sound so foolish because Nigeria is into that too at some point. Why do you borrow to pay worker salary when there could have been solution but you are not really finding the solution to this. So financial management will help you to put this in check, to put this in check. We need to buy fuel to on generator. You don't need to start running helter skelter to do all these minor things. So financial management will help you to have your cash flow management put in place and put in check. Now, what are the cash flows? Cash inflows are your sales revenue, the money that comes in from what you are selling, whatever is it you are selling, whatever service is it you're rendering outside, you're offering outside. Your rent income, your loans received, the loan you receive, and your investment returns, and all those ones are cash inflows, the money that comes into your hand. Those money comes out. It could be friends, family dash you money, support your business, grants from anywhere. I mean, those are inflows. Then cash outflows, where is your money going to? Where is your business money going to? Salaries. Good number of SMEs, especially the ones that we call them the micro one now, the micro one with 5 to 10 employees now. They are drilling so well in depth, all in the name of we are trying to meet up paying worker salary. You definitely have to pay your worker salary. Then how do you do that? They end up borrowing. Why do you have to borrow in the first place when you could have actually put some things in place? So salaries, utility bills, construction expenses, loans, repayments, your loan servicing, and all those, they are cash outflows. The money that goes out from your pocket, from your business, are the ones we call the cash outflows. So financial management, of course, other we have alternatives on how you do this. We have alternatives. A few time past, I was diagnosing somebody's problem, and then I brought up a blueprint. Now this is a blueprint which I would suggest to we in this place, that you can do this for your own personal life and you can incorporate it into the company now. That for every income that comes to your hand, well, it takes discipline, so I can't impose that on everybody. 30% of every of your income should be separated. 30% of every of your income should be separated. Now 20% of that 30%, now that's two-thirds of that 30%, should always go back to your normal fixed savings. Now you are not keeping that in any bank, you can use it anytime, but 20% of that separated. Then the 10% of your excesses, now your income, your profit, the remaining 10%, you can use it, either you reinvest it or you use it for your personal running sake. But those 20% you are keeping somewhere there. In financial management and in economics, we have what we call, well, in every business, we have what we call the peak season and off peak season. Now peak season is when your business is booming, boom, income, sales is coming in, you're making sales, just like a farmer now. A farmer selling his farm produce after harvest, you understand that kind of. But imagine a farmer now hoping to be having those income when rainy season is still on. I mean, that's so irrational. Now, when the money is coming in steadily is when we call your peak season. That point that, oh boy, that money is not coming in again, it's so hard for income to actually get into your pocket. Are we together, please? Now that 20% you've been keeping there would now be the one that will come and revive your business. So instead of you to now go and be looking for loan to pay salary, looking for loan to buy in into your inventory, no, you would easily and comfortably now go into your savings. It is your money, you've been the one keeping them. Remove your money and use it to run your other expenses. Now that money particularly is what will now make you remain significant in the market during your off peak season. I don't know if you understand, please. So I mean, because of time, I'm seeing my time is up already, unless if my calculation is wrong. So please, sir, I don't know, is my time up, please, or I still have some minutes?
Okay, your time is actually up, but you have like 3 more minutes, so you can just then
Three more minutes.
yes, we'll go into the question and answer section. All right.
All right, sir. Okay, in 3 minutes, let me just take financial decision. Yeah, I think it's very important. I already tried to explain that briefly now. Financial decision is very important, please, to everybody here. to every business that really wants to survive. You have to take that so serious. Now, this determines how the business will raise funds. Your financing decision now will determine how your business will raise funds. How do you raise fund? Yeah, money used to finish. When you have we have to wait till next week. No, 20% I was saying. Retained earnings. Imagine you are not saving those 20%. You are the type that parties a lot, you club a lot, you make 1 million naira profit and you just feel, wow, I'm going to make another 1 million naira by next month or by next week. Then you end up finishing the 1 million naira without thinking, what if by next month that one is not coming again? So please, retained earnings matters a lot for every business now. For every business, you have to be disciplined enough that whatever profits you are making, there's a particular percentage that you are very disciplined and you are very intentional. Yeah, let me use that word, intentional. I'm very intentional that every month I'm separating 200,000 naira for this purpose. Yes. And if you are doing it, you are committed to doing it, and you would actually reap the benefits later on. Then sales of assets. Well, actually, that one is for internal sources. Internal sources now, sales of assets. You need money. I'm this particular person that I don't really I don't advise businesses to go for loan, because loan kills business. That's one thing. Loans help business grow, and at the same time, well, it depends on where you are getting them from. So I discourage loan a lot as a financial manager. Sales of assets. What are the things I have that I can sell? Of course, if I sell them, I'm not using that money to flex. I'm not using that money to buy foolish things. I'm actually using this money to reinvest or to boost my investment. Do you get now? I can choose to sell a parcel of land. Why? Because I need money to invest in a particular place. I mean, something happened recently, and that particular thing trend, it went viral, where Otedola had to sell his shares in Geregu, and proposing to invest $100 million in Dangote's refinery. So a lot of persons came to me and they were trying to analyze and ask me, come on, how does it make sense? Why do you have to sell your own company in order to buy shares of another man's company? Do you get it? Of course, because he knows that what you'll be getting from that place will definitely be more than what he has. So he's selling his assets to invest, not to spend, not to enjoy himself. So owner's capital and all those. Well, external sources, where do you get money from? From external parts now. You have equity investment. Why not introduce your business to your friend? Call that your family member, call that your friend that you feel he has the money, or guy, come, bring your 50,000. I promise at the end of this month, on your 50,000, you have 5,000. I mean, that's the way I entice people to enter business. I'm not coming to tell you, come and buy shares. No, but I'll just tell you, guy, come, why don't you bring 200,000? Let's do something. And at the end of every month, for this particular period of time, I'll be paying you back this amount. Do you get it? So, equity investment, bonds, ventures capital, and all those. Thank you so much for the listening, and thank you for the timing. I really appreciate everyone here. And thank you. It's a privilege to be with us today again.
Oh wow. Oh wow, oh wow, oh wow. If you have received value for your time, I want you to comment 111 in the comment section. This is so amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. So right about now we are going to just go into the question and answer session quickly. So some of us sent in some question and I would like our expert to just answer those questions and bring clarity to the question. All right. So one of the question we have here. Okay. So can you hear me? One of the question we have is how do I strictly ensure that I don't ever spend from my capital while it has been invested? How can I track my financial flow monthly? So do you get that?
I mean, is that one question
That's
or two questions
they are,
separately,
they
sir?
are, they are they are together. Both questions are together.
Okay.
How do I strictly
Can you take it
ensure
again, please?
how do I strictly ensure that I don't ever spend from my capital while it has been invested? That's the first part of the question. Then the second part says, how can I track my financial flow monthly.
Wow. All right.
Okay, so you can go ahead and answer that. So I'll come up with the next question.
All right, sir. Well, let me start with you your capital is that English again. Strictly, hello, sir. Okay, Sha. Let me say you are. The question is all about how do you make sure you do not touch your capital, right? After
Yes,
investing it.
after investing.
Well, okay, all right, sir. So I get it. Well, I mentioned why talking. I said it takes discipline and it takes your commitment, personal commitment. How genuine are you to yourself? Do you get it, please? How genuine are you to yourself and how committed? Now, if you are not asking, if I mean the question now, if the person asking is saying, "How am I going to?" Or maybe you've been investing capitals in the past and you've always touched from your capital. You're now asking for a way to make sure that it will not be possible for you to touch your capital again at all. Oh God, I think one of the ways it will never be possible for you to touch your capital is by putting it in fixed deposit. The likes of all these banks, fixed deposit, piggyvest, and buying bonds that the timing is stipulated and you cannot touch it till it matures. I mean, that's for that one. But come down to your own personal business now. You are starting a food canteen business, food business with 50,000 naira. Please, it is so intentional that for every day I go out to sell this food, however the amount I'm making, there's this particular amount I'll be separating. And when I'm separating this, nothing on earth will make me to touch that yet. So there's a way you commit yourself to, and this is it. You do not tend to remove your capital all at once from your business. No, that's wrong. There's a way I track back capital that you end up having your same capital in another separate account waiting for you, that it's now your excesses, your profit that you've made that will now keep being your capital later on in life. Do you get it? Now, gradually, as your business keep making inflow, profit, your earnings, you are reducing it. You have a particular savings, a particular percentage separated for capital purpose. Okay, this percentage is for my capital sake. And you keep sending them out of that place, out of that place. Well, I think this my own particular answer is for a person that really want to secure your capital. But if it is for me, if I'm going to answer the way my own business ethics works, I don't save any money for prevention sake. Instead, the excess I have, my 50,000 naira capital is getting back to my hand. Instead of me keeping it because I don't want to use it again, I would rather find another investment and pour that 50,000 into it again. Now I've diversified. So I'm trying to discourage savings mindset from that person that asked this question now. Should in case you feel capital is for you to just save, no, no, it's not. Capital is not for saving. Capital is for working. That's why we call it working capital. It is for you to work, to make business. It's your capital that will generate more income. So if your capital in the first business is generating enough income already, your excess from there should now become capital to another business again. And before you know, I mean, imagine you have like 4 income streams already. Oh God, you will not be concerned about touching any capital anywhere again. So I don't know if that answers to that particular question, please, sir. And the person that asked, please.
Okay, I think that you have done justice to that particular question. So another interesting question is what are the main sources of funds available to a business or organization? What are the main sources of funds
Okay.
available to a business or organization? And I understand where this person is coming from. You want to start a business right now and you're thinking, oh, I don't have money. Who is going to give me money? Where am I going to get the money from? You have written down, you have come up with a business plan, you have already analyzed and strategized everything. You know the vendor where you are going to get your materials from, but then the money is not available. So, what are the main sources of funds available to a business or organization?
All right, sir. That's a very good question too. I mentioned sources of finance, source of income the other time, but at the same time, let me address this before mentioning this again. Um, Number one, what's your capital budget? That's where you should start from. How much are you looking forward to? I mean, you want to start up a business. No investor would definitely want to commit a whole lot into a business that you've not even tested yet. Do you get it? So know your capital budget first. Start small. That's what I tell people. Start small. I've been a victim of loss a lot. I mean, if you have lose more than millions, like I mean severally, you would understand better that it's very important you start small, start little. So when you are starting little, let's take for example, you have a capital, your capital projection is 5 million naira, 5 million. Firstly, let me ask, how much do that person have as your own savings? You need capital of 5 million. Then from your savings, if you really want to go into that business, you should be able to say, okay, you have savings of over 1 million naira already. Or however your capital, I mean, however your savings is. Now, your families are there. So part of source of income to businesses, support from families and friends, they are very important. I mean, very, very important. That you have siblings that really want to do business in school, want to do business anywhere, and they reach out to you. I mean, come on, you just send them money and say, okay, is it not business? Okay, take this, start this. So that's another one. Your family can support you. I mean, the first one I mentioned was what? Savings, your own personal savings. The second one I said families, friends too can support. Yeah, we have those friends that still exist. Oh, guy, come on, I have this idea. I mean, personally, I was once in that shoe too. I was once in that shoe. I shared a business idea with a friend. Said, come on, look at this, and this is how much I'm hoping to start with. But this is what we have on ground. I mean, he committed to, and then the business is doing so fine today. So that's that. Friends can support you. Then loans. I tried so much to make sure I will not mention loan, but definitely I have to mention loan now. Bank loans. Yeah. When you have a good business plan written down, sir, I mean, to the person that asked the question, when you have a very good business plan written down, approach banks, especially UBA or First Bank. I recommend these two very well because I've tested them and yes, it's a good business plan. Go to them not for grant, but for loan. Then they will check your details and everything. If they see it's viable and something that makes sense, they would offer you loan. In fact, they will give you more than what you even think. That's that. Banks loan too help. It helps a lot. And then equity investment, like you can just create this kind of partnership, a group of people. I recommended to one MD, a managing director of a particular company, just this week. Said, why not, you have this influence, you have these big men around you, sir, and you really want to source for 15 billion. You don't need to stress much. Why not get your circle of friends? Okay, start from 100 million, 500 million. It will just be like a club. Okay, a circle of friends. Now imagine a secondary school student, however the level is, and you need 100,000 naira capital. You can easily gather your friends and tax them 5,000 and come up together, and before you know, your money is completed. So that part of equity now, of course, I mentioned secondary school because I'm trying to be so simple to that extent. But if it's a corporate organization, please, it's better. Equity investment is going to be in form of shares and bonds. All right. I don't know if that answers to that person, please.
Yeah, I think that does that you have done justice to that also. Let me just ask this last question. What method are used to track, record, and report financial transactions? What methods are used? So it's talking about the method for tracking, recording, and reporting financial transactions. Do you get that? I think the network is quite bad. Okay.
Hello, sir.
Okay. Do you get the question?
Can you come again, please, sir?
Okay.
What methods or
What methods are used to track, record, and report financial transactions?
All right. It depends on how your organization do. So I would just come up with financial performance, your financial statements. That's basically accountant work, keeping proper records. And what are the records? Your balance sheet, your income statements, and all those. Do you get it, please? All those ones are things to track financial um records. So we have so many of them. I just mentioned your balance sheet basically, and then financial income statement. We have the income statement separate, statement of financial reporting, and all those. Now, these accounting terminologies I use, they really help you to just document them, record. Okay, this today we make this sales of this particular item. How many quantity? How much is it per one? All these ones will help you to actually track um how money comes in and how money goes out. So for most businesses, I mean majorly almost all SMEs operate with income and expenditure account. I mean that's the most basic account you can keep, where you just have a T format. You have your income at the left side, then expenditure the right side. So how much is entering, you're recording it. How much you are spending out, you're recording it. And at the end of the day, you'll be able to easily calculate, okay, what's the total of how much enters? What's the total of how much we spent out? Then you subtract how much went out from how much came in. So definitely, you know that when what comes in is more than what you spend out, of course, you've made profit. But when what you spend out is more than what comes in, of course you understand it's loss already. So I think that's the answer I have for that particular question, please.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. I want to say kudos to you. Thank you for the clarity you have brought to our audience tonight. All right. So I want to say this before the session ends, or before his session ends, and the next expert come or take the stage, that if what Mr. Akinola shared eats you, and you know your finances need structure, it will be opening slots for one-on-one session on Scaleit. So after this session, you can just book a private financial clarity session with him, so that he can, help you to navigate your situation. All right. So having said that, we're going to be moving to the second expert for tonight. So thank you, Mr. Akinola. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
It's my pleasure.
All
Thank you
right.
so much.
So
Thank you, everyone.
okay. So the next expert that will be speaking in a couple of minutes with us is a mindset and clarity expert. All right. His name is David Zidane. Okay, so David Zidane works with individuals who feel stuck, mentally scattered, or unsure about their next move. People who know they have potential but lack clarity and direction. His approach is simple but powerful. He helps you slow down, think properly, and see what's really going on beneath the surface. So from there, he builds structure, direction, and a clear path forward. This isn't surface level motivation, it's deep clarity that leads to real decision and practical execution. Client who works with him typically gain clear direction on what to focus on, the ability to make confident decisions without overthinking, a structured plan for moving forward, mental alignment between who they are and what they are building. If you are tired of feeling stuck and ready to move with precision, it can help you get there. I guarantee you that. All right. So I'm going to welcome Mr. David Zidane um, to take over right about now. You're welcome, sir.
Hello everyone, good evening. Trust that we are good. Thank you so much, Sir Emmanuel. I am really, really grateful for this opportunity, and I really love what you're doing. I really love the expats economy, the scale it's basically what you're doing for we expats. It's not something we should take for granted. It's really a large platform you have been building, and I want to appreciate you. I also want to appreciate those that have been working with you. And for everyone on the call, this is not a coincidence. This is amazing, an amazing session you have come to be a part of. I can see Paulina. And for our speaker, Mr. Akinola, thank you so much for this session. I really, really appreciate. I learned a lot. It was really, really impactful. Who would have known finance could be this interesting? Thank you so much for such a an inspiring session. All right, right about now, I'll be going into my topic, and I just want to break down some terms. If you listen to what the hosts shared, that's my bio. I'm not just a motivational speaker, I'm also a clarity coach. And over the years, over a period of time since I started my work in the personal development industry, whenever I consult for individuals, I've noticed that most individuals always have a problem of starting, how to start. No, I think one common ground that we've always experienced whenever you want to do something, they always tell you this question: you should find your purpose. They always tell you, okay, what is your purpose? And I realized that if you are looking for a purpose, does that mean your purpose was actually missing? You understand? People say, okay, you have to find purpose. Was your purpose missing? So during the course of the period of time, I've always had to consult with individuals about this clarity on different things. I consult for businesses, for brands, organizations, basically any aspect that you need clarity. And I know what this platform has given us. It's be able to bring different experts in different field, the finance, the crypto, the stock. You understand different fields entirely, so you can be able to fit in one way or the other. So I don't know who is with me. I don't know if you can use the comment section. I'd love to know who is with me so I can we can flow. Let's quickly go into the topic for today. And I'll be talking about the expat economy. It's something I've been brooding about, and I've compiled the notes. I'll just make sure it's very brief so we can be able to flow with it, and then we'll see where this takes us. The expat economy. You know, when we hear the expat economy, what comes to your mind? And one thing that we know, you have to treat what an expert is. And I indicated in my note that an expert is someone who has comprehensive and authoritative knowledge, skill, and experience in a particular field. So my topic is the expat economy and you. This is basically going to give us insights and clarity into where we are headed as a world, where you yourself, you are either a student, you are still in the university, even secondary school level. Basically, you're either serving the country right now, because my target audience for this is majorly Africans or Nigerians at large. You're either serving the country, you're either in a 9 to 5 job, or you have a business you are building. This teaching basically covers that area. It covers everything about that. The expert economy and you. How can you be able to fit into what the expert economy is all about? And I realized that we've had different stages over the period of years. And one stage is the industrial age. I don't know who has watched this movie, The Men Who Built America. It's one movie I always love to reference back to. The Men Who Built America. And you could see the different ways America began to develop. There's something that it was stated whereby um, one way they built was through the industrial age. That's where you had steel was being produced, iron, you understand, bridges were constructed. That was the first stage in which America began to enter into actual civilization, the industrial age. And then, like I said, there are 3 stages in which we find ourselves. We have passed the industrial age. We are currently revolving around the information age, or we can also put it as the digital age. Now, the industrial age consisted of labor. You could see men toiling, construction, building, and the likes. The information age is now basically access to information that you have. That's why you hear things like information is power. I don't know if you have heard something like that. Information is power. Because where you are lacking in information, you're not really able to use the resources available for you. Let me use this example again. Let's say, just imagine this. I'm a very practical person. I love to talk and teach with practicalities. So now imagine this. You have 5 million naira in your account. Or let's open two accounts now. Let's say you have OP and you have an Access Bank. So now in your OP, you have randomly, let's say you have close to 20,000 naira in your OP account, and your OP is what you use regularly. But then your Access account is something you just open one time like that, and you don't really make use of it. But then somehow something happened, maybe you invested into something, it's returned, there are returns on investment, and that Access account had up to 5,000, 50, I said 5 million naira, but you were not aware of it. So you're only aware of what you had in your OP. And so over time, you want to get something, you look at your OP, oh, I have 20,000 naira. You go to the market, you just buy maybe biscuits and drink. Mr. Akinola said something about suya and which drink did he call? Coke. He said suya and Coke. I was laughing. I was like, sir, what of us if we want to survive on that? You understand? But I was teaching about the aspect of maybe not just putting your money on everything. If you calculate these funds now, you realize that you have been able to save a particular amount of money. So now let's say you have this 20,000 naira and then you just want to use it to guide the Nigerian languages. I want to use this money to guide for this period of time, maybe before salary comes in, before a job comes in, before another amount of cash coming. But you are lacking in knowledge of the fact that you actually have 5 million naira in your Access account. I'm still talking about information. So then you go to the market, supermarket, you want to buy something, you're just picking things of 3,000 naira, 5,000 naira, not knowing that you're lacking 5 million naira that can be able to get anything you want and you'll be comfortable. So that's how information is very powerful. Information is power. So you can see the current age in which we are in is the information age, whereby for you to be able to thrive, you need access to information. That's why you hear some people when they mention something and then you're looking lost. They're like, are you in the stone age? How are you now aware of this? Information is everywhere. Now, the next age in which we'll be entering, this information as well also deals with data. It also deals can be able to fit into this perfectly. It's not just for experts, like I said, it's for students, for corpers, for workers, for career builders, and the likes. So now I coined these terms together as something. The expert economy is an emerging, you see, always take note of certain terms. That's why I like to define my terms strategically. The expert economy is an emerging global economy. It's not a growing local economy. It is an emerging. That is something that is building. That is the age we are going into. So for you to be able to understand the future, you must be able to understand the past, relate with the present, and then foresee into the future. For you to be able to, I'll repeat this again, for you to be able to understand where you're headed, that is the future, you must be able to understand what has gone on in the past. You must be able to be present in the present, and then you must be able to foresee the future where you are going towards. That's why we have things like vision board. So this is me here in this current age 2026. In the next 5 years, where do I want to be? But in the past 5 years, I am not currently where I used to be before. You understand? So this is where we're going. The expert economy is an emerging global economy in which what you know and what you can do with what you know. Look at these terms. It is in which what you know, what you can do with what you know is what more than where you went to school, is much more than your job title, is much more than your pay from salary. So you can see most times over the period of time, the normal human, we are used to basically That is for Nigerians now. Let me drag us a little bit. The common formula that we are used to is basically you study, you go to school, from studying you graduate, from graduating you find a job, finding a job, salary. That's how you survive. And they call it the rat race. You wake up, you go to school, you graduate, you get a job, you marry, you understand? That's the rat race of life that we have always been confined into. And you can see how this model is weakening because today now you hear students that are making millions while they are students. I think I was listening to a podcast some days back. I'm trying to recall who was that. This was a student that was basically while she was in school, she was making money. I mean, I've had friends like that in that aspect. I've heard people's stories. So you can see how that model of us just studying, having to wait till you graduate, having to wait till you find a job before you cannot be able to survive. That is a system that is crumbling right now. Right now, a tailor can begin to teach fashion designing in school. Lots and lots of things that this the current framework in which we are living in is already crumbling. So how can we now fit into an emerging global economy in which what we know and what we can do with what we know is much more than our salary, is much more the degree that we get. Now before people used to, I'm not saying it's wrong, I mean it's a good thing. Chase after the degree, if you're still in school, pursue it. But then don't keep that like your final bus stop. Always have a backup plan that positions you for the future. One thing I've always loved this man Sam Adeyemi, if you know him, he's always teaches on the leadership and the human capacity. How we as leaders, we always look into ourselves and then we ask ourselves, who are we becoming? So this is not just in terms of ambition. This is basically something that positions you for the global stage. Who am I becoming? I've always told people that when you begin to ask yourself questions like how did I get here? Who am I? It's not something that I just ask, okay, who am I? My name is David Zidane Guan, I am this. It's deeper than that. You ask yourself intricate questions. Who am I? That's when you begin to dig into this and then you begin to come up with solutions and answers to basically your existence upon the surface of the earth. For you to be able to thrive in this economy, you must be able to know who you are and where you are headed. I mean, most of us must have seen the news by now. Elon Musk just recently clocked into the trillionaire status. So for people that want to become billionaires or millionaires, they have raised the standard now. You now have to enter the trillionaire status for you to beat Elon Musk. This is someone that has position. And so earlier this year, I said, let me do a little research on these scary men, these men that are just doing things that are like, where are these people coming from? I did a little investigation or research on the person of Elon Musk, and he has always been a wild and avid thinker, someone that does not think small. Elon Musk has always been a wild and avid thinker, someone that does not think small. If you look at what he does, if you look at how he positions himself, you know this guy is just wild. He's crazy. But you have to be crazy for you to be able to build sustainable things. You have to do something that when people hear it, they will look at you and they'll begin to wonder, what is this person really thinking? Are you in your right frame of mind? So you can see, for you to be able to emerge and be a part of where this world is growing to, you must begin to think in systems that can be able to build itself to last the test of times. So, like I said, the expert economy is an emerging global economy in which what you know and what you can do with what you know is worth more than where you went to school, is worth more than your job title, is worth more than your pay and salary. It is basically an economic shift where your knowledge, your expertise, your experience and insights gives you valuable assets over the period of time. I mean, when we talk of assets, people always talk about land. People talk about land. People talk about investing into this and that. But then I've discovered that you yourself, you are your own asset. The work you put into investing upon yourself is a whole asset on its own. People begin to look for your value. There's a statement I always say: valuable people are always sought for. There's no how you won't be valuable and you won't be sought for. And from your valuable skills, you can be able to earn money from it. There's money everywhere. We just need to know where to look. We only just need to know where we are looking towards and how to draw it from there. I don't know if anyone is still with me. You understand? So, like I said, there are three stages: the industrial age, the information age, and the expert age. So basically, this is laying emphasis on your character, what you are building for yourself. I just said something now that you yourself, you are an asset. And the more people begin to look at you, that's where your value begins to build. You can be able to sell yourself in a way that people look at you and they'll be like, this guy, I can't afford this person. That's why some conferences you see people inviting, they begin to look at their budget. Okay, this person now that's coming, the money I have available, can I be able to pay for this person? The person has built himself to a value level in which that his own status alone is what brings money to him. And one thing with Nigerians, this is a practical thing that I've noted down, that we Nigerians, especially young Nigerians, we always build value before competence. We are not being able to build competence over time. We just want influence. That's why you notice people can do anything for influence. Enter TikTok now. You see different things, different people doing things live on TikTok live, any kind of content now, just to gain followers. And that is a very, very bad system that we have grown into. We grow first, learn deeply, we build character, and develop a leadership capacity. There's something I've always learned that if you can't, there's something I've always learned that if you cannot lead yourself, you cannot lead others. If you cannot lead yourself, you cannot lead others. In leading yourself, that's where opportunities begin to follow you in every aspect. You can see where a graduate begins to learn something like digital marketing. But you're not just stopping there. Like I said, this is where you begin to think about yourself, positioning yourself for the future. So a graduate that learns, let's use example, maybe digital marketing, for instance, yes. The thing is, most people just feel like, okay, once you learn this skill, copywriting, digital marketing, you're stopping there. No, you begin to ask yourself, can I lead a team? This is where you're now building structures. So therefore, you know the intricacies of digital marketing. You know how to sell, you know how to position ads, you know how to basically um, get clients and they'll buy your product. Next thing you should begin to think is, can you lead a team? How can you communicate? How can you solve people's problem? How can you be able to pass out this skill? So you can see how this now transformed beyond technical skills. It now transforms to something that people now need. So we always hear this question: what problem can I solve repeatedly? What problem can I be able to position for myself that I can be able to solve, and then it creates value? Knowledge alone has never been valuable.
Okay, I think he's having a little glitch, so he will fix that and join us back. All right. So I believe we're gaining value from the session already for those of us on the call. Please, can you use the comment section so that we will know that you are following? All right. So the room is too quiet. It's as though we're just talking to ourselves. There's no interaction and all of that. So we need you to interact with what is being said. So we know that yes, you're actually following this session. All right. So okay, I think he's back now. All right. Paulina. Okay. I don't know. Since the network issue is from your hand, um,
All right. Sorry for the break in transmission. I got stuck outside the chats. All right. So, as I was saying earlier on, for those that were following, I'm basically talking about the fact that I was mentioning how a tailor thinks. Basically, I like the conception that people begin to change their perspective. That okay, I am not just a tailor, I am a fashion designer. I'm not just a tailor, I am a fashion designer. And then a fashion designer just basically is not just someone that creates designs. I mean, if we talk about one of the most fashionable or trending fashion designers, one common name that we always call is Vicky James. Vicky James, she does not just sew clothes. Always a touch of excellence. She also trains people. She has a fashion academy and she creates content. Can you see how this is diversified? So most times when we want to position ourselves for greatness, we just begin to think in one angle. We begin to think in one aspect, in one level, not knowing that there's much more in which we can be able to perceive. There's a class I joined. This was 2 days ago. Now, this is where the world is gearing towards. This is what the person that I was talking about was saying. You know how over time we hear things like AI is taking over our jobs, AI is taking over your jobs, and all those things. That do you know that what people now are looking for? They are looking for human beings, no longer AI. Basically, there are companies that want to recruit you, and do you know that everybody can use AI now? Everybody can be able to duplicate a character, and it's like you are ready. It's AI. Before you know, you take these prompts to ChatGPT or Cloud or Gemini, and it's already giving you a script or something. But then some companies now are like, if AI is going to be the one to take over, is going to be the one to maybe handle this thing. I want an actual human being that will be able to handle the resources. So that class I was following, what the class was basically they were trying to recruit human beings that can be able to interface with clients, not just AI. I mean, yes, AI is necessary. AI is needful in this time and age. It really helps. I mean, look, some days back, was it Amazon sacked how many of their workers because there's now a tool that can handle what those people are doing. But then, in that same way, as now as much as AI is taking jobs, there's a time where it will come that people will need real human beings to actually be able to interface with clients and then give solutions to problems, not just AI. Because sometimes these things are automated systems. These are automated engineering systems that are basically set in place to answer our questions, give us this and that. But then when it comes to selling certain kind of digital services, that's where you yourself you need to be relevant. So there's no way you build yourself over time. There's no way you invest into yourself that you not become valuable. I said this earlier on. There's no way you not invest into yourself. There's no way you not build over time that you not become valuable. It's the same thing like someone. I'm also a videographer and also a video editor. Before, when we come to learn skills about video editing, we always thought it was just cut and join, okay, just do something nice. But now, for you to be able to position in the future, you have to tell a story. I don't know if you hear things like hook. The first 5 seconds, first 3 seconds of your video must hook the viewer. It's not just to edit, cut and join now. You understand? You need to move in with the current times. You need to move in with the current systems. So how do you position far ahead? That's what we're trying to deal with. I mentioned three stages. We have the industrial age, we have the information age, and we have the expert age. So this is basically a point where we push ourselves to packaging, to positioning, to sales, systems, and market awareness. So it's not about asking, what do I know? It's now asking yourself, what problem does what I know solve? I'll say this again. What problem does what I know solve? So that thing I know, what problem am I solving? How can I package this in a way that when someone sees it, they get so excited to want to patronize my product? And one thing I've learned, I've always followed this man, Vusi Tembekwayo. I've always loved his thought process because he's always talking in strategically thinking and global relevance. You hear Vusi say things like, where is this world going to? Where is this world going? You hear things like, where is this world going? Sorry, someone's mic is on. Where is this world going? Where, sorry, please, someone's mic is on. Okay. So you hear Vusi asking things like, where is the world going towards? Because most people are stuck. They are just stuck with surviving today. And this is the unfortunate thing that we have seen found ourselves. Because next thing you just ask somebody, where do you see yourself? There's this meme that started going out randomly. Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? You now hear you now respond with, I don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow. You're talking about 5 years' time. Let me just survive and see how tomorrow will be. Let me survive for today and see how tomorrow will be. It's giving the current times and age that we are currently in has squeezed and snuffed life out of us to be able to position for the future. So we just think about surviving for tomorrow. I just want to eat and survive today. Or anywhere belly face, I'll lie down. You understand? But this is a very, very lame thinking. We're not thinking ahead. We're not thinking towards the future to position for greatness, global relevance. So you can see how times are changing. And if we don't fit into these times that are changing, we'll be left behind. Most of us Africans, Nigerians, we are when it comes to global innovation, we are quick to chew into it. We are quick to consume into it. But very few of us create strategic positioning. How can we strategize and position with sense that when this current wave passes and hits us, we are not on the floor, we are still standing. I mean, we could talk about things like, okay, due to the current situations we are in, the current environment we are in, we are not exposed. But that is not actually true. Information is everywhere. You just have to begin to dig with the little knowledge you have. There's something I always believed in beyond mindset. I always talk with teach on my teachings are not just like I said, not just motivation, they are inspirational because you begin to tap into knowledge that is not private to the common man. I always love to study the likes of Albert Einstein and Nikola Tesla. How were these men able to come up with formulas, with theories, with practicalities that was able to shape and change the current times we are in? I just mentioned Elon Musk too. These are not people that just think basic. You must begin to think very strategy, intricately that this thing sef, even you yourself, as you're thinking about it, you'll be like, am I really in my right frame? Because it's not the common knowledge, something that you are beginning to see in the future, far ahead, where people are not seeing. You see, as far as your eyes can see, you begin to position towards that level. But if your eyes are just thinking about how you survive tomorrow, you'll not be able to position for your current stage. There are people who have done consultations with, and one common consultation I mentioned earlier that I always ask people, they don't know what to do with their current stage. And I tell them, okay, get a pen and paper. Now draft out these things, what you are currently doing. This is a practical, you can also do that too. Get a pen and paper. You understand? Write out, okay, where you currently are in life, how you have always pictured yourself, where you have pictured ahead, where you want to go to. And there are always people like that are like mentors, people that have already passed through this journey, people that are like templates that we can begin to look at life. Not that we are going to be copycats, because everyone is unique in themselves, but they are already template that okay, they are already looking like our future. Those are not the right people that we can now start streamlining our views to. Not just
doom scrolling on TikTok. I mean, you can do that for entertainment purpose. You want to relax, you can just scroll. But if you begin to waste your life on that, you're just feeding the content creators more views. By you looking at the current people, like I mentioned some names earlier on, see Nikola Tesla, Albert Einstein, Elon Musk, Vusi Tembekwayo, depends on your field, Vicky James, whichever field you are, you look at, there are people that are industry leaders in those fields. So this helps us to position ourselves for greatness because there are people that are actually doing great and mighty things. But if we just look at our common peers, okay, anywhere Bele face or this place I am currently with, these people are, we cannot move forward. I consulted with someone some this was some months back, and she said that her problem has always been her current group of friends. Each time they look at her doing something, she's a lady, but this lady is into tech. She does coding, she does website designing, anything tech, she wants to learn it. I'm like, I beg now. But anytime she comes across her current group of friends, they are either filled with envy, they're either trying to bring her down, they're telling her she's doing too much. And she began to feel so low. She began to feel like, it's true, maybe she's doing too much for her age. Not knowing that her own age bracket, if you go to people, if you go to China now, what those children are being groomed into, what she feels like she's doing that is too much, is what they are just starting with. You can see different levels of exposure. So I told her that she needs to cut off from those people in a way that she does not roll with them in the sense that they are limiting her potentials. She really wants to do a lot. She has potentials and capacity to do a lot. We can see how her current environment is what is limiting her. So that's where strategic positioning comes in. So beyond positioning strategically, you need to look at the economic awareness. Where is the world going towards? For people that are in crypto space, for crypto people, sorry, I'm waiting for the crypto person to come and speak to us. Something happened and then the market shifted. Before you know, a lot of things went down. So you need to understand this thing. I'm not into crypto, but I started studying the trade analysis just like that. I don't even know what happened that period. I was also interested into it. I don't want to know how the market operates. What rises the market? When is the next bull run? When is the next yes, they call it different names. They call it the deep, the bull run, just to understand what's happening in the current economy. So I started following people that are talking about it. I started understanding, okay, this is what influence and power can bring about. One man can just stand up and say, good morning. His good morning can determine whether the market is going up. His good morning can determine whether the market is going down. Just one man can see how the power of influence is. So we need to hold and amass influence in every aspect of our life, but we have to start from somewhere. So always think globally. Elon Musk is saying he wants to move humanity to Mars. In your common sense, that is insane. That is my. He has been saying this thing for years back. We can see how he has been building towards it. His first SpaceX launch, it crashed. How many times did they try to launch a rocket? It always crashed. But he kept launching. He kept wasting billions, and then he now proved successful. So, can your expertise solve a problem beyond your city, beyond your state, beyond Nigeria? So, that thing you're doing, how can it solve the locality you are in? Beyond that, how can it now solve your state's problem? How can it now solve beyond Nigeria, beyond Africa, that the world will need it? So, when we begin to ask ourselves questions, before you know, we begin to draw out inspiration from a particular source where these things begin to come up, answers begin to come up from within us. Things that you never knew you could think about, things you never knew you could ponder around. They begin to come out from somewhere. You be like, okay, you now start saying and connecting the dots. Okay, this is possible. This is possible. You begin to read wide. You begin to have vast knowledge on everything. You now notice that okay, this particular country is failing in this. I have the solution to them. I don't know if you are still with me. I have the solution to them. There's one. It's like a prayer point. I got it from someone, and I've always been saying it that I am the answer. I am the answer to the heart cry of my generation to God. When I heard that thing, it stuck with me. I am the answer to the heart cry of my generation to God. So basically, this world, I am the answer. The fact that I am on earth, I am an answer to their problems. If it is in the finance sector, I am an answer to their problem. If it is the marketing structure, I am an answer to their problem. If it is basically expanding their mind and view of thinking, I am the answer to their problem. So humanity is always crying for solutions. I am the answer. How can I now begin to convert my intangible energy to tangible energy to be able to provide solutions to the world at large? This is where we begin to think in high thoughts. That's where identity comes in, purpose comes in, and transformation comes in. These three major areas: identity, purpose, and transformation. So your question is, let's look at the money aspect now. Thank God Mr. Akinola just spoke on finance. This is not just about how do I make money. Okay, yes, how do I make money? You know, the things when I learned when I was trying to study finance, money basically, they tell you, okay, how can you make money? How do you manage money? And how do you multiply money? How do you make money? How do you manage money? And how do you multiply money? But look at another unique perspective. You see, what unique perspective and capacity have I been entrusted within me? There are solutions that are within us that when we're able to operate it out, those solutions can answer a lifetime of problem. Wait, just another example or another assignment we can do. Just sit with yourself. Check out the famous inventions, the famous innovators. Just check out what they came up with. How did they come up with that invention? One man I've always respected, I'm not going to the story, but Steve Jobs. Apple is all over. Steve Jobs died how many years ago? Like 20, either 20, between 2013 and 2017. Steve Jobs died. Apple is still rising higher and higher. In fact, there's this common thing that if you're not using Apple and iPhone, you're not anywhere yet. I mean, that is just for people that think in low. See how man was able to come up with solution. If you don't that Apple came up, you have to sack his because he said that this is something he has in his mind. He wants to replicate it. And the engineers and the software like, it's not possible. It has not been done that way. These big computers that like these computers is something that he's saying is like able to infuse into a microchip, and it is so little that people can move around with it. His engineer said it's not possible, it's not possible. You understand? He sacked them, he sacked some of them because they are not thinking from where he's thinking. So, what unique perspective and capacity have I been entrusted with? People chase trends. We are used to that. Check TikTok. People are chasing trends. Before you know, one trend will come up. That's one thing that this world system has always done to blind our eyes. Something is happening in the country, before you know, something else will just come up, and that's how we're forgetting about what's happening. So most times we lose ourselves in the process of becoming. We lose ourselves in this process. We lose ourselves in our yes, we lose ourselves in the process of becoming. So to be able to gain expertise is not merely about information. It is a accumulation of different things, and I'll list them. Expertise is a accumulation of knowledge. Beyond knowledge is now the experience. Beyond the experience, there's now the observation. I once taught people on observation. I'll not be able to go into that now. Beyond the experience, there's the observation. Beyond the observation, there's now reflection. And lastly, application. Over time, the accumulation of all these things becomes wisdom that you begin to dish out to people. People are looking for knowledge. Sometimes we always say that this field is saturated, the online space is saturated. To be honest, it is not saturated. You are sent to a particular group of people. So if you are not the one speaking to these people, they will not be able to get knowledge on that. If you're not the one teaching people on this, it's not Vicky. If you're a fashion designer, it does not mean everybody can be able to afford Vicky jeans as at now. So you yourself, how can you rise to a way that there are particular people that can be able to look up to you and they want to patronize you, not because you are belittling yourself and your value, but because your target audience is basically to these people. And the more you grow, you get people from all over the world. Vicky James is not reaching out to everybody all over the world, though. She has just built a particular consistency and pattern in which people know her and people always want to go for her in an aspect of excellence. So this world, like I said, this is basically towards the emerging global reality that we're coming to. This world is looking for educators, is looking for coaches, is looking for consultants, is looking for creators, not just content creators. Is looking for analysts, research strategists, community builders. You can see this is a places where me and you can be able to fit in into the expert economy. The expert economy and you, global relevance, is increasingly rewarding for educators. What can you be able to educate people about? How can you fit in as a coach, a consultant, a creator, an analyst, a researcher, a strategist, community builder? Knowledge-based businesses are among the fastest growing parts of the creator economy. So I'll be wrapping up now. AI is making information cheap. That is the thing. I was talking with our host about this some time back. That AI is actually making information cheap. ChatGPT, this, it has given it up to you. But everyone has access to answers. The thing is, okay, if you give me access to the answer, how can I now apply it? That's where you come in. That's where me and you come in. How can I apply the knowledge to a real problem? How can I begin to think critically? How can I connect ideas? Can I exercise? Can I lead people? ChatGPT will not teach me how to lead people. That's why you see books like Becoming a Leader, Developing the Leader Within You, John C. Maxwell. These books are practicalities that begin to teach you how to position as a leader to lead people. I read that book and it just changed my view about leadership. This is not just something I'm learning from ChatGPT. This is not just something I'm learning from AI. This is something that a man has led the life. He has documented his process. I'm now taking it and I'm now living it as well. For Nigerians, especially corp members, for graduates, for professionals, there's always a stage for us to climb. I also listed this. I was just thinking and putting upon it. It came to me. For us to climb to this expert economy where the world is gearing towards, I mean, you can say, okay, you're disadvantaged. This is the basic things you have to learn. Stage one, you have to learn. How do you learn? You read. Read, oh, read. There's no how you cannot talk about that. Read. You study, observe, observation. One thing I've always liked about myself, I'm someone that is very observant about something. I can just be somewhere and I'm observing how things work. Before you now begin to pick it up. Okay, this is how this operates. This is how this operates. You read, you study, and observe. That's just the stage one for you to go get somewhere. The next thing, from what you have studied, from what you have read, from what you have observed, you begin to apply it. Look for ways to apply it. Use what you learn. Knowledge becomes really skillful through application. I mentioned it earlier on that it's not just about having the knowledge, it's about the application, the right application of it. The next thing, you begin to document. You see, this world, a time will come whereby people always want to look at your process. They don't want to look at your finishing. Yes, there's always that. But they always want to look at your process. Where are you coming from? So you have to document everything. Document, you share lessons, you build evidence. If you organize a class of two people, do do pictures. Okay, I taught people on this. You understand? There's this joke about LinkedIn. LinkedIn people, how they are packing themselves. You just taught two people on, or maybe what's the common thing, how to open an account on Instagram. The next thing, LinkedIn will just open it. I taught people on the analytic, strategic development, or how to be able to position themselves for future relevance in the social media space. You can see how packaging is. Document everything you're doing. It's not cho. It's not by cho. You have to show workings, build evidence, create proof, and then the next stage again is there are different stages. And now is to teach people, help others achieve results. As you are teaching people, you are also learning. You are becoming a master in this field. How did I become a consultant now in the mind and clarity? I had knowledge of this. From having knowledge of it, I began to organize classes. From organizing classes, I began to ask people, okay, what problem and challenge are you having on in this aspect? Because I noticed people always wanted to reach out to me to talk to them about something. And then I said, okay, fine, let's book a consultation call. From there, I noticed, okay, I could give you insight into that problem you're lacking, especially in your business, your personal life, your productivity life. By the time all these things now begin to build up, you begin to package it into courses. You can see this is value. Package it into consulting, package into coaching, into community, before you know, products, into books, workshops. From there, you begin to scale, you begin to build systems, and begin to move beyond the current times that we are in. So the world is already giving us advantages, a lot of things. We have AI. How do we now maximize this to ourselves? Like I said, AI cannot be able to do all these things alone. I mean, they are bots, they are agents for this. But then the time will come where people begin to look for the substance of yourself, the credibility of your character over the years, your process. You can just build something with AI and sharp, it has done it. But When people are trying to trace your process, you're like, where what has this person been building over time? Where did this person come from? Did he just use AI to just appear? You understand? So all this thing now gives us to a point whereby we build systems and we move beyond the trading time. And this is my assignment for you. I've given too many assignments. I'm a very practical person. So ask yourself, this is something that we have to ask ourselves. What do I naturally help people with? The one that people come and if you don't know this personally, you can do a poll, you can put it on your status. Just ask people, okay, I want you to give me a sincere answer. What do you think I can be able to do effortlessly? If they say you talk too much, that is not a disadvantage. That means you can either maybe be a speaker. You just need to channel the energy. They say you like to argue. Begin to think about that. Okay, does that mean I can be able to fit into the debate space? You understand? These are ways we can be able to find aspect of our fitting on earth. Am I good with writing? Am I good with counseling? Am I good with fashion? There are fashion sense that if I dress, people will be like, wow, you have a good fashion sense. You have a good eye for products. You are good in tech. You are creative, very creative. You understand? This may be your first clue to your expertise. Then another question you ask yourself is, how can I become globally useful in this area? That's where you search online, you do your research for yourself. How can I become globally useful in this area? All these things I listed. They are things that are not going to run down or die out. In fact, it has never died out, and it will not die out. AI cannot take this aspect of your job. You understand? I made sure I created these things out in a way that it will not die out. Because these are things I've studied lives of people over the years, just few people, and I noticed that these are things these people are consistently riding upon, and it is still abundant in resources. This place cannot get saturated. So my final point for us today is this: always develop yourself deeply. The world is not waiting for you. If you begin to look at your life as a business, you have to grow. You want to develop yourself deeply. You have to learn how to solve meaningful problems. Think strategically, not just think about your future. Think strategically about the future. Build expertise around your gifts. Package your knowledge. Create value at scale. And you become globally relevant without losing your identity. Everything I've taught now is just basically how we can be able to position for the expert economy in 2026. And I hope we'll be able to take a stand on this. I hope we'll be able to think about this and then look at how we can position ourselves for global relevance in this world and the world beyond. Thank you so much for listening. I'm grateful.
Okay, what an awesome session. Oh my god, my head is full. My head is full. All right, all right, all right, all right. We're about to round up right about now. So if you have any question for our experts, you can go ahead and ask. You can either unmute or you can just type it in the comment section. So we've learned about the expert economy and you, how to position yourself in the expert economy. So one thing he did not say is that there's a shift in the creators economy currently. If you have observed what is going on, the rise in the information and the content that is being generated by AI is beginning to cause people to question the credibility of those informations, right? You hear something like eat egg, don't eat egg. If you do this, this one will happen to you. So you are confused as to what am I supposed to follow as an individual or what information am I supposed to run with. So that's where the expert comes in. So people will be demanding for experts. They'll be looking for people to talk to directly, people that have the answers and the solution. So you don't want to miss out in that particular economy. You want to position yourself as one of the experts also. All right. So no questions, right? Okay. So before we go, let me just say this so that we'll be clear as to what we'll be expecting next week. And like I said, the Clarity series is a weekly program. or a weekly session where experts come and they discuss in the angle of their expertise, and then you can have opportunity to book them on a one-on-one session. All right, so next week we'll be having another expert on the call, and that expert will be talking about stock market and how you can invest in the stock market also. All right, so you don't want to miss that session for anything. All right, so thank you so much for being on this call tonight. The recordings will be made available, all right, so that you can go through them and still be able to refresh yourself. Don't assume that you understood everything that was said from the first expert to the second expert. All right, so also you can go to our site, use scaleit.com, and book a session with any of the experts, especially those that spoke tonight, Mr. Akinola, who is a financial management expert, and Mr. David Zidane, who is a clarity and mindset coach also. So thank you for your time. Thank you for staying true. We appreciate you. We love you. We'll see you next week for another impactful session. It's good night from my hand. All right.